And let's move on to the final segment of the show today, and that is the 5 takeaways. So we're going to look at the game yesterday and see what 5 things we can take away from the game. First and foremost is perfect Romero.
Yeah, and Romero statistically had an absolutely fantastic game. Obviously on the pitch, we could see that on the eye test as well, but you look at his stats: 5 out of 5 duels won, 2 out of 2 aerial duels won, 3 tackles, 3 interceptions, dribble pass 0 times, and 97% pass accuracy as well. Of his 38 passes, only misplaced 1 of them. So brilliant display by Romero. Was completely imperious throughout the 90 minutes. And I'm loving this new controlled Romero we're seeing this season, where he seems to be taking a lot more responsibility on himself, and it's leading to some really fantastic performances.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, to be honest. I loved his display yesterday. He's towing that line, but he's still very aggressive, but he's doing it in a really, I don't know what the word is,
controlled.
But maybe it is controlled, but kind of, is it, it doesn't look that controlled, to be honest, but he's battering balls into opposition players. He's putting in amazing lunges and sliding tackles. I mean, he has really stepped it up a notch since Mickey van der Ven has come into the team, and you can really see not just the relationship between him and Van der Ven, but the relationship between him and Porro as well on the other side. I mean, you're starting to see a back line, a back 4 that we can be really proud of, to be honest, every single player in their own right. But Romero is kind of taking that leadership role in that back line and really flourishing for it. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from Romero. Let's move on to number 2, and that is Maddison, masterclass.
Yeah, and I thought he was absolute magic yesterday. I thought he played so well, James Maddison, throughout the 90 minutes. I thought, again, he was taking responsibility within himself to come deep and pick the ball up in deeper areas and do some deep line playmaking, as well as obviously being in the final third and providing goals and assists, and obviously scoring on the day. 2 out of 2 dribbles on the day, 1 key pass, 3 shots, 2 on target, 7 out of 12 duels won as well, 91% passing accuracy on the day. And I don't even know those stats completely do him justice as well, because I thought they was so involved in a lot more throughout the game. And I just loving how Maddison is just taking this team on with himself, and he's like, I'm going to be the main guy now, and he's just really fitted in seamlessly.
Yeah, he really has. And I think he is just what we used to say about Christian Eriksen, the complete hub of the team. Everything positive going forward is all going through him. The way he floats in between those lines is so impressive, and off the ball as well. Non-stop running. The duels that you mentioned there were the big part for me, because he kept winning the ball back time and time again to set us up on attacks once again. He did that. We nearly scored when he kind of blocked the goalkeeper's throw out as well. I mean, the guy is just unbelievable. The way he's just come into this team and just hit the ground running to be one of our most important players is just astounding to me. And the leadership role he's taking up on that pitch as well. I mean, I've never seen a player come in straight away and just be so vital to us. It's just crazy.
That's exactly what we needed since Kane left.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on to number 3, and that is defensive solidity.
Yeah, and look, another clean sheet yesterday. Our stats so far during the season, there's only 2 goals conceded in the first 3 games, only 1 from open play, which was Wissa's goal, which took a deflection. When Van der Ven and Romero have been on the pitch, we haven't conceded a single goal. We only conceded 1 shot inside our penalty area in that whole second half yesterday. Our XG conceded yesterday was 0.67. In only 2 games of the whole of last season did we concede less XG in 90 minutes yesterday. And I think that just goes to show how we're improving defensively. Even though we had a defensive system last season, this is what we were saying about Postecoglou. We're going to be defending less this season because of the control we're going to have in games, and that's already bearing out. And as we say, Romero and Van der Ven, their partnership is really starting to flourish really, really early on, and it's really, really encouraging. And only 1 open play goal conceded in the first 3 games is very impressive.
Yeah, and there was a kind of narrative. We were all saying it coming in, the first few months of Ange, we're going to struggle defensively with the high line to get used to it and all this kind of stuff. But these 4 defenders, all of them are pretty much new. Pedro Porro came in January and was in and out the team.
Still a new role for him, though.
Yeah, a new role for him, but he came in and out of the team last season. Romero was a mainstay. Mickey van der Ven's a completely new signing, 22-year-old coming in his first year in the Premier League. And Destiny Udogie, brand new signing as well, effectively, and just coming into a brand new role, into a brand new league as well, and still so young. What is he, 20 years of age?
And Vicario as well.
And Vicario, yeah, 100%. So all of them are performing completely perfectly, I should say, at the moment. And I'm just gobsmacked how good we look defensively so early in this system. And if this is like a kind of base to grow on, a building block, like what we can achieve in the next couple of years if we keep growing from this level, I don't know what we can achieve, because I think it's unbelievable.
It's mad. It's just mad how we've gone from our worst ever defensive display in a season last season. I think most goals we ever conceded. And now our first 3 games, 2 clean sheets, 1 goal from open play conceded. It's just a phenomenal turnaround.
I mean, the only team that looked better defensively than us so far in terms of the top teams is Man City. They haven't conceded a goal yet. I mean, you look at Arsenal, right? They're conceding chances. They're conceding bad chances. I mean, that ball from Saka and that goalkeeping by Ramsdale yesterday. I mean, like, Arsenal are conceding goals at home to like teams that they should never be conceding to. And Spurs, their back four, which is a brand new back four. This Arsenal back four should be settled by now, and they should be like conceding clean sheets. They should be going for the title. I know it's a long season; it's only 3 games in, but you can only go on what you see right now after the first 3 games. And what I see is Spurs having a settled backline, and Arsenal not really.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
Let's move on to number 4, and that is Kulusevski shining.
Yeah, and look, he got his first goal of the season. He's a player who has come in for a bit of criticism this season for some of his performances, but I thought yesterday was a bit of a return to form for him. 2 out of 2 dribbles completed, 2 key passes, second only to Son, 2 tackles and 2 interceptions as well. Obviously, really doing that defensive work. He won 5 of his 11 duels. So, look, he won 5 duels, which is good, but still a bit of work to do. And obviously, he got his goal with a really cute finish in that second half. And he looked absolutely delighted with that goal as well. Once he scored, you saw maybe a bit of relief come off him.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can really use that as a springboard. And
you really saw the togetherness in the team when Kulusevski scored. When he did score, I think it was every single player on the pitch came and, apart from Vicario, came and celebrated with him. So you're really starting to see this togetherness back in the team, because it hasn't been there for a while now, let's be honest. And again, that's down to big Ange Postecoglou for galvanizing them once again. But with Kulusevski in his performance, I didn't think it was an amazing performance from him, but you can't knock what he's producing in terms of numbers so far. 1 goal, 1 assist in the first 3 games. So 2 goal contributions in 3 games, and the most of anyone in that front line. So I think Son has he got 1 assist so far? Has he not even got an assist yet?
I don't think he's got an assist.
No, so I mean, Rishi and Son both haven't had any goal contributions yet. Kulusevski is out there with 2 after the first 3 games. So I've seen a lot of fans, including myself, kind of knock Kulusevski's performances, but you can't really knock the numbers so far just yet.
Yeah. All right.
And last but not least, let's move on to increased dribbling.
Yeah, and this was an interesting stat that I picked up on in this game. Obviously, Spurs completed 14 dribbles throughout the game, which was quite impressive. Our highest total throughout the whole of last season was only 1 game where we got 15 completed dribbles. This season already, we've completed 14, 16, and 14 in our first 3 games, and I think that just goes to, I think that's evidence of Postecoglou trusting these players more, to have that increased freedom, to know when to try and beat a player and exploit the space, and not just, as Conte would do, just take the ball and pass it quickly and do the system he wants every step of the way. Like, Postecoglou is giving these players a lot more freedom to make their own movements and judgments, and know when to burst in the space and try and take a player on, or when to pass it simply. And I think those stats are evidence of just that increased responsibilities given to that players, and that increased freedom as well, allowing them to dribble a bit more and take players on rather than just be stringent in their formation.
Yeah, and after the game, I can't remember which player they were talking to him about, but they said, oh, does this certain player, I think it was Maddison, does he have, no, it was Udogie, I think they were talking about, and he says, and they asked him, does he have the license to go forward and to really flourish? And he says, they all do.
They all do, yeah.
and I love that from him, to be honest, because if there's space, he wants the players to drive into that space. And you can see it. You can see it all over the pitch. At one point, Porro was there in the middle of the box. At one point, Udogie was. I mean, they're all just like taking up the freedom on the pitch and really utilizing it. And we're flourishing because of it. And the dribbles that we're showing on the pitch from everyone, to be honest. I mean, we're such a hard team to play against now. And like I said, I'll keep saying it about every metric, but it is all down to this main man, Ange Postecoglou. So it's great watch. And I'm just in awe watching Spurs every single time now, because when have you ever seen like a club like this just a complete flip 180 in such a short space of time? 3 games he's been here for. It's mental.
It's crazy. But it is only 3 games.
It is only 3 games, but if we like, you would assume that we're going to improve.
You'd hope so.
You assume that, don't you?
But managers do get a honeymoon period. Let's just hope it's not a honeymoon period and it is a sign of things to come. But it does seem to that it is definitely going in the right direction.
But like you compare this to like the start of the Nuno era. The Nuno era, we started with 3 wins.
And no one really believed it.
No one believed it because we were terrible. We were lucky to get those wins.
Yeah.
You know, we're having 1 shot a game, scoring 1 goal and not conceding.
We did videos about how this isn't sustainable, I remember, after those 3 wins.
Exactly.
But now, looking at the performance and even the data, it's definitely not unsustainable.
Exactly. So that is your 5 takeaways for the match. 2-0 at the Vitality against Bournemouth. And we are very happy Spurs fans here, as you can obviously tell. And I think even the mood in the studio has flipped 180 since Ange Postecoglou has come in.